Welcome back to the Barrel Zone. No video intro. New Chrome update has some issues with the video playback, so we will skip that for a few days until they fix it. So, 29th of January, Friday morning, we have a 10-game NBA slate to go through, lot to break down, couple of interesting lines on the board. I have already made a few bets. We will have stream on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Couple of big games. I'm looking forward to the weekend. We will have the Lakers visiting the Celtics tomorrow, stuff like that. But let's get into today's card. I'm putting up my odds screen in the meantime. If you can and you want, please like the video and subscribe. It helps a ton. So we are getting into the games. First game on the board, Washington Wizards are hosting the Atlanta Hawks. Hawks are laying 4.5 points on the road. Yeah, so you will have to pay extra to fade the Wizards for a while, I think. And this is some extra you have to pay here. I make the line 3.5, so yeah, I show value on the Wizards. I'm not going to go there. A couple of issues with them still, but I'm going to get into that. So injuries. Capella is probable for the Hawks. That's a guy who want to track. Without him, the rebounding just falls back to terrible levels. So if you want to back the Hawks, Capella needs to play. Reddish and Rondo are questionable. These aren't so important, but for Washington, they will have everyone back besides a few guys. Returning Hachimura, Bertans, Wagner, obviously super important bodies. The front court was extremely thin through the past few games, but they will have some capable guys back. Only few guys still out. Ish Smith, Troy Brown, and obviously Thomas Bryant will be still out. So yeah, slowly but surely, the Wizards are getting everyone back together. I think within a few games, we will see if they want to turn this into a season or they just already let go of the rope. So yeah, I make it 3.5. With the extra injuries that are still left, I think a fair number maybe is around 4. But yeah, at 4.5, I think there is some value on the home dog if you want to go there. But the Wizards obviously have been terrible through the last 2 weeks. They are the 30th ranked offense in the league, 27th on the defensive end, minus 19 point differential on average per game, and minus 13 per game against the spread. So yeah, they have been the absolute worst. It should get better. Definitely Beal is playing awesome. Maybe Westbrook will have a few strong games now with Hachimura back. At least they have a few more NBA level players. Bertans, obviously, he's a great shooter as well. So yeah, we might start backing the Wizards, but I don't think this is the game to do that. We will have to see them for a few times before I can put my money behind them. Hawks, obviously, top 15 team, borderline top 10, great rebounding, good free throw rate. Wizards are giving up the second most free throws in the league. So yeah, not certainly a good matchup, and still the Hawks rebounding edge should be huge even with returning big man for the Wizards. Second game on the board. This will be a quick handicap. I like a side here. Orlando Magic are hosting the LA Clippers. This opened up Orlando -2. It's off the board right now as the Clippers have played overnight. But like a couple of soft books have 2.5s up with the Magic, so we can say that the 2.5 is bettable with the Magic. You can grab them on the money line around -125 to -130. I think those are fair grabs. The reason I'm liking the Magic here is pretty simple. Yesterday, the Miami Heat closed -2 against the same Clippers team without obviously Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Beverly is also out. So the Clippers are missing 3 starters. They did win last night, but this is a third game in 4 nights and the back-to-back, and they so the Heat closed -2 against them last night, and the Heat didn't have Butler, Dragic, Harkless, Iguodala, Myers, and Bradley. So more than half of the team was out for the Heat, and they closed -2. I don't think the Magic, while being mostly healthy, can be -2 or 2.5. This is in this form, this is a better team than the Heat. I really like the Clippers last night. As I was saying, the Heat have huge issues rebounding the ball, one of the worst rebounding teams. I expected the front court to dominate them. They did. So yeah, this isn't an amazing matchup for the Clippers, as the Magic defense is legit, and this is a solid top 10 rebounding team. Also, this is the final game of a 4-game homestand for the Magic. No back-to-back, so they are fully rested. Heat will be tired. They played, I think, a 7 or 8-man rotation. A couple of weaker players got more play time, obviously, than they usually do. So yeah, I like the rested home team here. I don't think -2 is enough here. Obviously, Magic are playing low-scoring games. Total will be like 215 max here when the sharp books open up. I would probably stick with the cheap money line with Orlando. I think this should be closer to 4. Orlando -3.5 to 4. But I would probably, even at a fair market price of 3, I would probably 3.5. I would go with the Magic. It was a nice win from the Clippers, but they will miss the big guns here. I think the Magic have way better players right now than the Heat had last night, and they will have more success defending the ball and rebounding. So yeah, I like the Magic. You can grab cheap money lines now. I think that's the play. Next game, this is another interesting one. Indiana Pacers at the Charlotte Hornets. The current line is -3.5. Pacers road favorites. This is a rematch. The first game was played 2 days ago. Pacers closed -3 and they won by 10. I really like the matchup then. I was talking about how efficiently the Pacers are getting to the rim, and they are putting up the most shots around the rim in the whole league. They are just going for the easy layups. Charlotte Hornets bottom 10 at defending the rim. So yeah, through the season, the Pacers are taking 44% of all of their shots within 4 feet of the rim. Charlotte is a top 10 team defending it. In the first game, the Pacers took 47% of their shots close to the rim, and they were shooting 62% from there, which is pretty amazing. So what I expected did exactly happen. I like the matchup then. I'm liking the matchup right now. There was almost no correction after that game, despite the Pacers winning pretty easily. Hornets had some success rebounding. I think Zeller had a huge rebounding game. Basically, that was why the game was relatively close, even with the huge mismatch on the offensive end of the ball. But I think the Pacers are the better team on both sides of the ball, and I think they will continue to get to the rim and put up some decent numbers, even with Oladipo gone. Oladipo traded away, mostly held them back defensively, but the Hornets are not a great offense. I rank them outside of my top 20, so this isn't a too terrible matchup in my opinion. And I mean, I like the Pacers 2 days ago. I still like them now. I don't think the line did move enough. I think this should close for 4.5. That would be probably the fair price. Next game, Toronto Raptors, Sacramento Kings. I haven't made a play here, but I have an edge on the Toronto Raptors. This one opened up as Raptors as 6.5-point favorites, but the early action has been on the Kings. Line is down to 5.5. To see how long we did come, the Raptors already played the Kings in Sacramento like 2-3 weeks ago, and they were 1-point dogs. Obviously, that was on the road, but they are now 5.5-point favorites. So huge move in the power rankings towards Toronto. They will be mostly healthy here. OG is questionable, but Powell did step up really well while he was out. So Norman Powell, I think, can step into his shoes, and even if he's out, it won't be a huge downgrade. So Toronto, through the last 2 weeks, they have been league average-ish overall, but through the last 2 weeks, they have been playing a top 10 defense. A lot of improvements on the defensive end. I'm liking what I'm seeing. There was some offensive regression coming with that, but they are still improving. I think they are a league average offense and the top 10 defense at this point. On the other end, the Kings are firmly in the bottom three when it comes to the offensive end. Through the season, they are ranked 28th in points per possession allowed. And through the last 2 weeks, they rank the dead last in the league. Offense is pretty decent. It's hovering between 10th and 15th. So they will put up some shots, but the defense is just terrible. They allow the highest points per possession through the season at 119 points per 100 possessions. They also allow the highest effective field goal percentage at 57%. I like the Raptors here. I didn't pull the trigger yet. Obviously, Kings play the Heat tomorrow, which is a way more winnable game, or probably a more winnable game than this one. With the injury issues the Heat have right now, even if Butler will be back, they will be pretty short-handed and banged up. So the Raptors are shooting the second most threes in the league. Kings allow the third highest three-point percentage in the league. In the first game, when these two played a few weeks ago, Raptors won by 24, and they shot 56% from downtown. So yeah, what we see through the season, the trend did come up in that game as well. And I have a number edge. I'm making this 6.5 to 7. Current line is 5.5. I think at 5 I would probably play this. My issue is that the Raptors are a bottom 10 offense right now. And I just cannot lay many points with bad offenses. On the other side, the Kings aren't a bad offense. They have pretty decent offensive rebounding against a terrible defensive rebounding team in the Raptors. Kings also draw the ninth most free throws, while the Raptors are giving up the third most. Turnover rate is also decent for the Kings, and the offensive efficiency also isn't that bad. So I have things I like on both sides. I think the game sets up well for the Raptors, with the Kings playing the Heat tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, early money came in on the Kings, and I can understand. I mean, bottom 10 offensive teams shouldn't lay 6.5 points under normal circumstances. But I was saying the problems on the defensive end with the Kings are pretty real. So yeah, I would lean towards the Raptors at the current line. I haven't played it yet. We'll probably only play it if this gets to 5. I think this could be a close game, and the Kings have been playing way under the level they should play. We could see them go on a little ATS run while the market upgrades them back a little bit. Next game, New Orleans Pelicans hosting the Milwaukee Bucks. Line is Milwaukee -7. This opened -6 and got bet to 7 instantly. I don't like the Bucks right now. The defense is playing pretty bad basketball. Through the season, I have ranked them as the 12th best defense, but through the last 2 weeks, they are the 20th best defense in points per possession. They are allowing 114 points per 100 shot attempts. That's pretty bad, especially that they face the 4th easiest schedule of opposing offenses. So yeah, this there could be some issue on the defensive end for the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't think it will come here, to be honest. The Pelicans are terrible. I'm always saying this: if you can out rebound them or just hang with them on the rebounding front, and you are not giving up too many free throws, you can beat them easily. Bucks are sixth in offensive and seventh in defensive rebounding. And they are giving up the third least free throws in the game. So yeah, I don't think the Pelicans will get those extra free throws they need. The Bucks will be competitive when it comes to the rebounding game that the Pelicans need to dominate to be competitive. And on the other end, Milwaukee's offense ranks second in points per possession, third in effective field goal percentage. Great turnover rates. On the other side, Pelicans defense 25th in points per possession, 25th in effective field goal percentage allowed, 24th in turnover rate. So they are not forcing turnovers. They are allowing efficient offense against the opponents. I mean, against this Bucks defense, this looks like suicide. So yeah, I like the Bucks. I make it 5.5 to 6, so at -7 value on the home dog. I wouldn't touch the Pelicans here. I only like the matchups where they can consistently out-rebound the opposing team and where they will get the extra 3 points from the charity stripe. It won't happen here. But yeah, something to look at the Bucks defense. I don't think it will be an issue here, but they aren't playing like a top 5 team right now, in my opinion. All right, next game, Knicks hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers. Knicks open up -2 and it quickly flipped to Cavs -1. Huge early move on the Cleveland squad. They have been making some pretty interesting changes in how they approach the game since Garland and Sexton came back. So through the whole season, Cleveland has been ranked as the 29th best offense and the 7th best defense. So they have been consistently a pretty decent defense. Through the last 2 weeks, they have been ranked as the 6th best offense and the 24th best defense. So they are scoring 10 more points per 100 possessions, but giving up 7 more on the defensive end. Still a team that has been overperforming their spreads by more than 5 points on average. And it's a 500 team. They are playing pretty decent basketball. The shots are falling, but yeah, this Cleveland team is totally different than what we've seen throughout the season before Garland and Sexton came back from their injuries. On the other end, New York, top 5 defense consistently, bottom 5 offense consistently. Yeah, this will be a low-scoring game. Both teams are pushing bottom 5 pace right now. New York on extra rest. They have lost 3 games in a row, although all 3 have come on the road. The 2 games they have played, these 2 squads have played already twice. New York lost by 3 in Cleveland, won by 9 at home. What I like about the Cleveland team right now and why I understand the line move is obviously the offense. Knicks cannot put up too many points. So if you can put up just enough points against them, they cannot be competitive, as they aren't a team that will put up like 120 on you. And we've seen the Cavs doing that recently. Also, offensive rebounding has been amazing for the Cavs. Since Allen got into the lineup, obviously Nance is playing well, Drummond playing well, everyone is playing well. They have an amazing front court. So yeah, consistently out-rebounding opponents. I think they will have the better rebounding here. Both teams are pretty decent around the rim, but I mean, I would have to lean towards the Cavs here, even if my numbers like the Knicks. The Knicks also up on a back-to-back. They play tomorrow, I think. Oh, that's not it. Okay, all right. So yeah, no back-to-back. That was I screwed that one up. All right. So yeah, Cavs stats might be a bit skewed as they played the Brooklyn Nets twice, and they put up like 220 points with almost like a 60% effective field goal percentage against them. So obviously that boosts the overall numbers through the last 2 weeks by a lot. But I mean, I think the Cavs will have the better rebounding here. I trust their offense way more, and I do think that they are still a decent defense. So while I like the Knicks and my numbers like the Knicks, I cannot deny the 3-point move towards the Cavs. And yeah, personally, I would probably lean towards the road team here, but no play from me. Next game, OKC Thunder hosting Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn is currently laying 8.5 on the road. I think that's too much. I was talking about backing OKC for a few games now. They faced the most difficult schedule out of all teams through the last 2 weeks. They played obviously Brooklyn, the Spurs, Lakers. They played at the Nuggets, the Clippers twice, Portland, now Phoenix. Yeah. In the first game when they faced Brooklyn, they won by 13, although Brooklyn only had KD and Levert, so they didn't have Kyrie, and the Harden trade didn't go down yet. But yeah, I think this is a good matchup for OKC. A couple of things that I like with them. They allow the fourth lowest free throw rate. That's huge, I think, against a team who really likes to draw those. They allow the ninth lowest effective field goal percentage, pretty decent defense overall, and they are top 5 in 3-point defense. So if you are playing the Nets at home as a huge dog, you are getting tons of points, but you are not giving up too many free throws. You are keeping the opponent to a low effective field goal percentage, especially from downtown. I think you can be competitive and you can keep this one close. I'm not having like huge expectations towards the Thunder, but they are a decent defense. And now Horford is back. Through the last 2 weeks, they have been without Horford. His daughter was born. In the first game back, he went astronomical, 20 something points, more than 10 rebounds. He had 3 steals. He had the best game of the season so far, if I recall it correctly. So yeah, plus I have a number edge here on the OKC Thunder. I'm way lower. I think this should be around Brooklyn -7, so 8.5. Yeah, I really like the home squad. This opened up Nets -10. That was gone within 2 minutes. That was the worst opener of the day by far. Nets are great offensively, obviously second best graded offense through the last 2 weeks, but they are the 22nd best defense. They are allowing amazingly high numbers towards even worse offenses than the OKC Thunder. I think the Thunder will be competitive, and this will be like a 4 or 5 point game. I could honestly even see OKC winning. The way they matching up here, I think that is the side to back. Next game, Minnesota Timberwolves at home hosting the Philadelphia 76ers. Philly is laying 7.5. The game is off the board right now. Embiid is questionable. Obviously, most important piece in the Philly squad. I think if he is out, this goes down to like Philly -4.5 to 5. If he's in, this can get up to 8.5, even 9. So yeah, this is a decent line at 7.5, midway between in and out. I would probably lean towards him sitting. He was pretty banged up heading into the Lakers game. James had a flagrant on him. He felt pretty ugly. So yeah, I don't think there is need to risk him getting injured against the worst team in the league. Minnesota Timberwolves won't have Karl-Anthony Towns, Hernan Gomez, Culver, and obviously Russell is just questionable. But I'm setting my lines with him out until he will come back. He has been out for a good while now. Through the whole season, Wolves are the 30th best offense, 29th best defense, -11 point differential. Defense has been a bit better lately, but overall it's still tragic. They have faced the 4th most difficult schedule, so that's something to keep in mind when Karl-Anthony Towns and Russell both come back. This might be a team to back. Until then, it's a skip. Offensively, they are terrible. And they are facing a top 10 defense who will have a huge rebounding edge. I'm always saying if Philly can out-rebound you and they get the extra free throws, just like New Orleans, they will beat you. Mini is allowing the highest offensive rebounding percentage in the whole league and the seventh most free throws. So yeah, I like the Sixers here. I think if Embiid plays 7.5 is not enough. Next game, San Antonio Spurs hosting the Denver Nuggets. Nuggets are laying 4 on the road. This is kind of 4.5. I think this will maybe even get to 5. I'm making it 3.5. I'm liking how Denver matches up here, so I wasn't betting the Spurs yet. At 5, I would probably back the Spurs. So yeah, Derek White is still out, but he is close to coming back. That's a guy you have to monitor for the Spurs in the long run. Obviously, he's a great player. Spurs hosting the Grizzlies tomorrow. Memphis might be back from the COVID break. Another thing to note, that could be a more easily winnable game. So if this starts to get out of hand, they might pull the starters. So Denver through the last 2 weeks, third best offense, 11th best defense, plus 9 point differential, plus 6.5 against the closing spread on average. Continuous improvements on the defensive end. I was saying this when the season started. Denver was a bottom 5 defense for like weeks and weeks and weeks, and now they are improving from game to game, and they are allowing 3-4 less points per possessions than they did when the season started. One I have to throw a wrench in there. They have faced the 5th easiest schedule of opposing offenses, so we don't know how legit is this, but I mean, yeah, the defense has been playing well. Spurs, on the other hand, they are through a great 2-week period. They are ranking 12th offensively, 8th defensively through this stretch, plus 3.5 point differential, 3.8 points against the spread on average. Yeah, so I don't think the offense is this good, as they have been mostly playing shitty teams through this stretch, and the offensive outbursts came against teams like Washington, Portland, Minnesota, so bad defensive teams. But overall, they have faced the 6th most difficult schedule in the league, and yeah, they are holding up. I think they are a top 15 team, not top 20, how I was ranking them earlier. Yeah, but I mean, I can understand the Denver's team. Denver has been playing amazing basketball. They did beat some tough teams. Jokic, obviously one of the MVP frontrunners. Despite what anyone is saying, big man won't get the award. I think he has a legit shot. But the problem is that Denver is one of the better offensive and defensive rebounding teams, while the Spurs are offensively one of the worst rebounding teams. I think 24th or 25th in offensive rebounding. They are decent in defensive rebounding, but I mean, the Nuggets are the best rebounding team on the offensive end in the whole league. So we will know that they will have a huge rebounding edge. Plus, the Spurs are shooting these tons of mid-range shots. These mid-range jumpers, they have been known for this for years, that they are shooting these long mid-range to long mid-range jumpers. 40% of their shots are coming from that range. Denver is a top 5 team at defending mid-range jumpers. So yeah, I don't like the matchup for the Nuggets based on the rebounding stats. I don't like the matchup for the Spurs based on the rebounding edge for Denver and how good they have been rolling. At 5, I would probably have to play the Spurs still. I don't think there is that much difference between the two teams. And my line is 3.5 here. So yeah, but I can totally agree why everyone is backing the Nuggets. Last game on the board, Utah Jazz hosting the Dallas Mavericks. Rematch. This was played 2 days ago. It closed Jazz -2 with Donovan Mitchell out. Current spread up is 4.5. I think that's expecting Mitchell to play. I don't think he will play. He's still in the concussion protocol. So if you want to grab some value with the Mavs, you can jump on a 4.5 right now. I wouldn't do it. I think the Jazz are a way better team, way more healthy, and the matchup is terrible for Dallas. So the first game, Utah won it easily. They kept Dallas to 14% offensive rebounding, where they had a 30% offensive rebounding. This is not a one-time thing. Rebounding has been a huge issue for Utah. for Dallas, sorry. They are ranked 28th in offensive rebounding, while Utah is ranked second, and Dallas is ranked 14th in defensive rebounding, while Utah is ranked fourth. So yeah, Utah is on the same level as New Orleans and Denver, one of the better defensive and offensive rebounding teams. They also don't give you any extra free throws, which is something Dallas needs to stay competitive. The Mavs, through the last 2 weeks, they are ranked 16th offensively and 29th defensively. Minus 8 point differential on average, minus 9 against the spread on average. Yeah. In the first game, Utah only gave up 8.8 free throws per 100 shot attempts. That's really good. And overall, in these rematches, I'm looking at season-long trends coming through in the first game, and I'm expecting them to come through here again. So yeah, Utah not giving up free throws. Great rebounding edge. And yeah, Porzingis just faces a shitty matchup here. And there is only 3 guys scoring on that team: Doncic, Hardaway, and Porzingis. And yeah, Doncic is fat. Hardaway, not a guy I'm trusting, and Porzingis just has a bad matchup. So yeah, the thing is, I wanna bet Utah. I will probably bet Utah, but I don't think Mitchell will play. And I think if he's announced out, this will come down. 2.5. I think that's a fair move. Mitchell is great, but he isn't worth more than 2.5 to 3 points, as this is a super deep team when it comes to shooting talent, and guys can step up and just make the baskets. And yeah, so his offensive output won't be that missed, I think. Yeah, so if we get a Utah minus 2.5, I think that's a fair bet. I'm hoping we will see Mitchell out and announced out pretty soon, so we can make the wager before the game. Yeah, and no, I wouldn't bet the Mavericks here. No, almost no matter what the line. I would probably need to get like 6-7 to even start considering them, given how the matchup plays out, in my opinion. All right. Summing it up, as always, I like the Orlando Magic. Clippers on a back-to-back without 3 of the better players, 3 starters. They are playing like 7 or 8 players right now. They aren't rested. This is a decent team. I think the Magic will find a way to get the W. Pacers rematch. Same line opened as the first game closed at. I think that's wrong. I like the Pacers here a lot. Raptors laying 5.5 at home. I think there is some value here. I'm waiting to get a better number. It's not easy to lay many points with the bad offense. OKC Thunder getting 8.5 points at home. Brooklyn Nets have been underperforming their closing spreads by more than 5 points on average. On the other end, OKC did overperform their closing spreads by almost 4 points on average. So, I mean, even just going by this, we are overlooking OKC and overhyping the Nets here. San Antonio Spurs, I show a small edge on them. I make this 3.5. Line is 4.5. I'm not playing it until maybe at 5, but I really don't want to play against the Nuggets. This is a terribly difficult play to make, especially Spurs coming off a huge win. I'm not trusting them. Philly 76ers, if Embiid is in, I think 7.5 isn't enough. But I don't think he will play. Why would they risk it against the worst team in the league? And Utah Jazz laying 4.5. This to me is a Mitchell Mitchell inline. I think he will be out, so there is no value on Utah yet. But if he's announced out and you get a cheap money line or a minus 2.5 with the Jazz, I think they are the right side. Mavs struggling mightily. The guys came back from COVID after like a 20-day layoff. They were no factors in the first game. I think they will play again 25 minutes or so. They are super rusty. Porzingis faces a bad matchup. I really like the Jazz tonight. All right, this is it for today. I will be back tomorrow at the same time. We have a couple of great games. I was already talking about the Lakers playing in Boston. We have Memphis Grizzlies at the San Antonio Spurs. Those are always the better games of the season. I'm remembering those for years. And Houston Rockets at New Orleans Pelicans, also another one where we might have some action. All right, thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys tomorrow at the same time. Please like the video or the podcast and subscribe. It helps a ton. And yeah,